Um, I wanted to ask, how much has the national debt increased under Trump's tenure so far?
Right now, debt as a percentage of GDP is roughly where it was when President Trump came into office as it pertains to fiscal year 20,
Can you
right
just
around
say
8%.
how much?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, you just saw that little snippet. And man, does it tell you everything you need to know about what's wrong with Washington. What you're about to watch is the full 5-minute exchange between Representative Ilhan Omar and Russell Vought, who was President Trump's acting budget director. And I want you to watch this closely. This is a masterclass in how the squad and the radical left operate. This isn't a hearing. This isn't about oversight. This is political theater. Her goal here is not to find out information about the budget. Her goal is to lay a verbal minefield, to ask slimy, baiting questions to try and trap Mr. Vought into a gotcha soundbite. She's not looking for truth. She's looking for a clip she can run on CNN to make the Trump administration look bad. But as you're about to see, Mr. Vought is a total professional. He's a patriot, he knows his numbers, and he is not going to fall for her traps. She tries to paint this picture of the Trump economy that is just a complete fantasy, and frankly, she fails. Big time. Do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below right now. Do you think these congressional hearings are about finding truth, or are they just a total waste of taxpayer money? All right, let's watch the full video.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for to my colleague for the shout out to the Progressive Caucus for putting out a budget. I wanted to ask, how much has the national debt increased under Trump's tenure so far?
Right now, debt as a percentage of GDP is roughly where it was when President Trump came into office as it pertains to fiscal year 20,
Can you
right
just
around
say
8%.
how much?
Right now, the national debt is $23 trillion. It's too high. That's why we have a budget here to be able to tackle it by $4.6 trillion in deficit reduction over 10 years.
All right. So it's increased $3 trillion. And your deficit in 2020 alone will be more than 60% higher than the year Trump took office. Massive tax cuts for the rich, aggressive military spending, and excessive immigration enforcement have all impartially contributed to these high deficits. And with revenue as share of the economy at historic lows and income inequality at historic highs, I fail to see how you can realistically balance the budget under your current policies. But you're still expecting that high income growth will help pay for these wasteful spending policies. When was the last time that the annual GDP has hit your projected growth rate of 3% or higher per year?
Yeah, in our first year, we were way over our economic growth number when the actuals came in at 2%, and we were significantly underneath that. So we have been out of the last 3 years, which has been closer to our mark than CBO's 2 out of the last 3 years. But I would say we are trying to actually reduce wasteful spending in this budget. We don't think of tax relief for American families as wasteful spending. We think it's their own hard-earned money that we're returning to them so they can invest in their families, their communities, and the individuals in their households.
Yeah, well, we differ in that. It was never during this presidency. Your growth projection is about double the CPO expected during that same time period. However, we know that this administration is not afraid. My colleagues on the other side and this administration will lecture us on the academic principles of fiscal responsibility and austerity by limiting deficit spending, unless it means cutting tax cuts for the rich.
It's even worse when you watch the whole thing, isn't it? This is a perfect example of a politician who hates the president and is just looking for a fight. Let's break this down from the top. From the second she opens her mouth, it's all theater. She even starts by giving a shout out to the Progressive Caucus, the socialists, for their own fantasy budget. Then she goes right into her first attack. How much has the national debt increased? And watch what Vought does. Like an actual budget expert, he starts to give a real intelligent answer. He says, debt as a percentage of GDP, which is the only way that number actually matters to economists. It's about our ability to pay the debt, not just the raw number. But does she let him answer? Nope. Shuts him right down. Can you just say how much? She doesn't want the context. She doesn't want an intelligent discussion. She just wants the big scary number $23 trillion. So she can run to her friends in the media and say, look, Trump's debt is $23 trillion. It's a classic dishonest trap. She's not interested in a discussion, she's interested in an ambush. You can see Vought knows exactly what her game is, but he's a professional, so he gives her the number. Then she launches into her big pre-written speech. She didn't care what he said. She was going to read this anyway, and she blames the deficit on, get this, massive tax cuts for the rich. Folks, she's talking about the 2017 Trump tax cuts that let you keep more of your own money. The tax cuts that gave us the lowest unemployment in 50 years. She calls that a bad thing, aggressive military spending. I'm sorry, I call that rebuilding our military after Obama and Biden completely gutted it and left us weak. She calls it aggressive. I call it keeping America safe. Excessive immigration enforcement. She is literally complaining that we are spending money to enforce our laws and secure the border. She just listed 3 of President Trump's biggest accomplishments and called them problems. This shows you how completely radical and out of touch her worldview is. She is fundamentally against a strong economy, a strong military, and strong borders. Then she tries another gotcha question at 150 about the 3% GDP growth projection. When was the last time that happened? She says, all smug. And Vought just comes right back at her with facts. He says actually our projections have been more accurate than the CBO's, and we all know the CBO is the swamp. They're the deep state bean counters who always lowball Republican economies and always overestimate Democrat ones. And then he just nails her. He says, we don't think of tax relief for American families as wasteful spending. We think it's their own hard-earned money. Boom! Mic drop. That's the ball game. She has no answer for that because in her socialist world, all your money belongs to the government first, and they just let you keep some of it. In our world, the world of patriots like Vought, that money is yours, and we're tired of them wasting it. But she just keeps going, trying to find anything that sticks. She tries to scare seniors about Social Security and Medicare, a tired, old Democrat lie. And then she has the audacity to lecture him on fiscal responsibility. Ilhan Omar, lecturing anyone on fiscal responsibility. This is the woman who bragged about being in the Progressive Caucus. This is the Green New Deal crowd. Their Medicare for All fantasy. Their plans would cost $90 trillion. She is the last person on planet Earth who has any right to talk about deficits. She's a total hypocrite. She's not mad about the deficit. She's mad that the money wasn't spent on her radical socialist wish list. She's mad we funded the border wall instead of free college for people who majored in gender studies. And of course, she ends with this big, dramatic, pre-written speech for the cameras about cruel cuts and struggling citizens. You see the game? This was the plan all along. Ask a bunch of baiting questions, don't let him answer, and then read her pre-rehearsed monologue. She didn't care about a single word he said. It's all a performance, and frankly for Ilhan Omar of all people, to be questioning anyone's integrity, to be acting like she's some moral authority, it's just unbelievable. This is a person with so many skeletons in her own closet, so many questions about her own past, her own finances, her own conduct. For her to sit up there on a high horse and lecture a decent public servant, a patriot like Russell Vought, is the absolute definition of hypocrisy. She has no right to question anyone. But Vought did a great job. He stayed calm. He stayed professional. He used facts, and he did not take her bait. He exposed her agenda for exactly what it is. This wasn't a hearing. It was a failed political hit job. What a disgrace. That's all I've got for this one. Let me know what you thought of this entire exchange in the comments. Who do you think won? It's pretty obvious to me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.